Professor Nengwekhulu in the school of Limpopo, the University of the North, by this University of Limpopo now. Well, like I felt it's a good 1969. You want to go to university, and I will never be allowed to attend any universities in South Africa in whole. Well, so Kawakasakazama, 1970, I called Limpopo. But within 6 months, people who are the Ubuntu state leader, I don't belong there. I have no relatives because my mother owned Onkgopotse. Then I was pushed back here in Joburg, and at some stage, Baba insisted KwaZulu-Natal, which was not true. When I finished primary school, which was very interesting because I got expired because the principal did not approve my promotion from 6 to 6, from 3 to 4 to 6. And the principal said they no longer allow promotion. But the teacher who taught me insisted that, I've been promoted. So I stayed there, And at one stage, one or two inspectors, one of them was an African and the other one was black. They came there. I remember asking a question about, the Oseva, and to explain it. I was very good in Afrikaans. Then explain that, it showed me it was the kind of problem of Afrikaners when they left Eastern Cape in 1832. That why they came into the country. In the end, this Afrikaner was very happy. He said, no, I should be doing Form 1. But when he left, that's when I got expelled. The better part of August, September, October, I was at home. In November the 9th, one of the teachers just arrived at my place in a bicycle. I used to travel about 1.5 kilometers for school there. And he said, no, you're coming Friday. He put me in the bicycle. And I went to the school. I wrote, he said the exam, standard 6 exam was official, so could not control by the principal. I wrote, 7, the exam from the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then I went back home. After that, I went to high school. He said, I knew complex things written even when I was in standard 3. My brother, my elder brother, when I was in standard 6, he was finishing matric, so he was ahead of me, and we used to talk a great deal, Sometimes I had good knowledge about some of the things, and he took it from me. That was we used to debate. Even though I was very erratic in classes, I used to read books that were complex because the advantage was my brother. He was way ahead of me. I really wanted a lot of things, so I was aware of this political. I used to read these political books that we have, and at some stage, I used to come to everybody. I used to have my brother. He used to ask me questions that we have, So I think it's the exposure that happened. So even in primary school, that's how I got expelled. I was challenged. When I went to high school, doing the same thing. The school that I attended, secondary school, was poor. That's what I'm saying. Where hostels, one, Mandela, the other one, Subuk. We used to have those. We used to know about Subuk and Mandela. They were part of it, and my brother helped me. The history of Eastern Cape, he was very familiar with me, even KwaZulu-Natal, because he used to tell those things. So we knew when I was working in Eastern Cape, I used to move the place. These are places that we have to define. So even my father was very interested in doing. That's why I said holidays I'll come to Joburg and you take me to Uncle American. Harry Oppenheimer would go there. He knew me, Harry Oppenheimer. And I know when 1971, when we went there looking for money with Pichana, we got in there, and Pichana is a very arrogant person, and he used to sit with the leg. They asked, he said, no, why? The clown called her Oppenheimer, and you can imagine that. Her Oppenheimer panicked. And he said, yes, you don't like us, you literally want the money. And he knew me personally. So I said, sir, we have not come out back. We actually want 3,500. to go to play the University of Natal at the time. We all have the conference. So we had the advantage, when we were young, Steve Biko and Pichana and myself were politically active, very active. That's what actually many people really got surprised. Me, initially, when I was in high school, I wanted to do medicine. And the principal that were there, Gisek, Germany, he was rich. I spoke fluent Vandaiwan. He says, no, black people you can't do because, he said, you can't do mathematics because you only count mathematics 5 times on the 5 one. You couldn't do that, So we never offered mathematics, we do biology. And then I switched to law, actually, that's what it is. That's what I studied, but then I never finished because when we were doing second year with one chap, Henrik Musi, who became the Free State, president, legal president, we were expelled with only 2, the first were expelled. We expelled, they were whatever. And then, they sent me to Dubai in Soweto. There was one old man, chap who was part of the Ubuntu stand. He called me there and he said, no, they are going to expel you, but you need to change your career. No, it doesn't matter, but I'm not going to change my views. So if they expel me, I'll go to Lesotho University. That's the first time we had a strike that we have. We had almost 99% second-year students. We organized them because the gold loan they didn't want. They want money. They never challenged. They wanted to use us. We didn't want to join a white one. News us is a white organization that we have, which was all discriminatory. Steve fought for it, and in 1967, he mobilized the church that we met in Natal there, in the course of Natal. At the Catholic Church, we went there. We had a lot of debate as young people. Some people felt that we should go underground. We said, no, we can't go underground. AAC and PAC are already underground movement. We want to form this plan, but ultimately that was in 1968. And then, they said, okay, we said, no, because they were afraid of being arrested. We then said, no, that's okay. We know we'll survive for 5 years. We suspected that we have. And we were offered, to have at the University of the North at the time, SASO to pay the SRC president. So the first meeting of SASO was held in 1969 at the University of the North that we have. But I didn't attend that. I went to Cape Town to attack NUSAS that we have. So we had arranged with Steve Biko that when I was there, he sent me a telegram at the time that represents SASO. So I represented SASO when I was down there. If you look at our first constitution that we have, we never defined blackness in terms of color. We defined blacks in terms of common history, common oppression, and so on, and all that, because we wanted to organize those who did not want. So that's what we have. That's the time when Steve became very busy studying about blackness that we have. So in 1971, Steve had been the president. Pichana took over, and it was decided that Pichana, I never decided, just so that I should become the permanent organizer and Pichana Secretary General. Our salary was 160 amount. We never earned it at all. There was no money in the budget. There were less than 100 rand that we have. So that's what we have. That's when we started, blackness, and it became very controversial that we have. They didn't want to. The liberal did not want. I remember I was here in Joburg. We stand in Twasa. You know what? They were going to call us Afro Coalition, African Colors and Asians. And I said, no. Stanley was up that we have the editor of the news. I said, no, you will call us black at gunpoint. He said, what do you got to know? We never saw as SASO as an organization against the NCPAC. Actually, we had so many people within SASO who are from ANC and PAC. I know some of them personally in Kimberley. I went there and met him a great deal. The Black Consciousness it's awareness of being black. When you're black even in color. That is the deal that we have. It was the tool that SASO was intending to use, and BPC. It was not the aim of actually being a political party. It was the time that you go to the people. That's what you used to go to the villages and talk to them. Said, no, don't actually ban the skin banning. You are black. No matter how black you are, you're a black person, you must be proud that way. That was Black Consciousness was all about. It was not meant to be a political party. It was going to put, not remaining within SASO, the whole black community, that's what we have. And some of the things we learned them from African Americans that we have. The group that was interested, Black Consciousness, awareness that we are black, that we have. Initially, some people did not want to have that name. They didn't want to be called black. But who wants to be called non-white? I mean, even when you're young, you thought, no, this is a stupid thing. We can't accept that. So it was a battle that we have. You see, we got banned 1973, March. We escaped 1973 in September. I didn't know how to go. They just came there, people there. Then we traveled to northwest, Rust. Tiro had already gone to Botswana. I used to travel with him when I was the permanent organizer. He didn't know why, but we had identified him as a chap who can take over. The idea was that when I get banned, it automatically take over. There was one Ben Langa who was killed in KwaZulu-Natal, and people were killed by people in the ANC who were given misinformation by the police. That is, he works for us. They could kill Ben, the elder brother Ben Langa, and then Langa, the other was the Chief Justice. They used to pay for us, the type of thing that we never had any money, never had no food. We used to live in that place that we had. So they when we went to Botswana, that's the type of thing that we have. We moved in there, moved to Botswana, and then the instruction was that Tiro, we got him, I found him in Botswana. Stayed in 1973 or 1974, 1st February. You see, the bombing, we talked with Tiro a great deal, but there were no bombing issues those days. One thing we were careful at, we used to meet in Gaborone. We say when you meet a car, you actually walk facing the pole so that nobody can drive on you. But for some reason, the night before, I talked to him. He was going to come to Lobati. He had a girlfriend in Mahikeng. At the time, it was Mafikeng that we knew of, but it's still the right. Mafikeng is in the western part, and Mahikeng is the north was the road, they visited Mahikeng. He was supposed to come down then. Following morning at 5 a.m., I got this phone call from the police that I should come there. From a friend of mine, I was staying with him at What had happened was that, there was a parcel bomb that was taken first to this railway station, being managed by the government department of income tax coming in that file. One of them came from Europe. He went there, they brought that, he says, no, it's not for me. Tiro used to stay in the Catholic place with his friend who was a teacher there. What happened that they sent a young chap to this big parcel, and then he was so tricky back to get there in the hostel. There was a house hostel. Tiro was sleeping there, gave him that parcel during the day that, it blew him. I think, it hit him when he was like this. So we never found the way because I saw the hands that we have, And we used to have that, they killed him there. You see, when we were in exile, in Southern Africa, there was an organization, Southern African Movement. It was led by Steve. Then when Tiro, when they became the leader, was the president of the Southern African Movement, which is Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and also Tanzania. That's what we have. So that's what Tiro's job was. Tiro's job. Then when I went there, I was not. He took out from the system that was created for the Black Consciousness. It was not calling for political thing that we have. Biko then ceded that position, and he led Tiro. Tiro was going to do that. I was not trying to run the Southern African Movement. It was his job. my job was then when I went that, I had to contact the ANC, PAC, which worked very effectively that have, because I went that, then, I went, met, the number of people. I went to the PAC in Tanzania. It was very blood breaking because there was so much division. And then the ANC, the trust then, the ANC was in Zambia. In the UK, it was the Communist Party. That's why the Communist Party of the ANC was not part of the ANC. In Zambia. Zambia was the home of the ANC blacks that we have. They can be very effective there. They said that, but I knew people who also, the Communist Party were in the UK, them that we have. So I had to contact Mbeki. He was my contact that we have. And then we used to go to Tanzania for the PAC, so that we can have unity. The PAC and ANC and the PPC and SASO to be able to that, the Black Consciousness. So Black Consciousness was never been a party. It was an awareness that we have. Yeah. So when we officially called Black, that's why the European mainly they liberate took over. There's a conference at Hammanskraal, 1972. We didn't allow we allow Afrikaners there because they called swart mensen. That was in, whereas the other one wanted to say non-whites. And Lisa Sparks was the editor, Ren Daily Mail. He's the one I met, Mr. Lintwasa. And I said, no, he says, no, we don't want the word. He said, no, this blackness is very sensitive. We said, no. He says, no, we're trying to find a name for you. What the name? Afro-Collegian. Hey, Chief, you'll call us Black Consciousness on your death. We're not going to have, I was standing to us at Commissioner Street. I don't remember very well. Then at some stage, we decided that, we wanted Steve to come out, have a meeting with Pichana. We then organized with Steve Biko. We wanted somebody international. Steve should have come in, have a meeting, and go back. All our Tampa agreed, and Mbeki they have, and their Swedish Prime Minister, the one who was killed that we have. We got to have to come. So we had to get somebody. We got somebody from Holland. Our group in Holland was considered very conservative, but for South Africa it was liberal. We talked to him. So he's the one who actually invited Steve. Steve was invited to go there to visit and come back to South Africa. He was not going there for life. That's what we were going to do. So that's what we did. And we organized with him to have. And unfortunately, Steve Pichana was going to Cambridge to come in. Or Mbeki, they were going to, and the Premier of Sweden that we would have. The Swedish were paying a great deal for us. I went there many often that we have Denmark, almost all of them. So that's what actually also led. And I think when they questioned Steve, they wanted to know whether he was going to go out of the country and come back. Craig Williamson, I think you must have known about him. Craig Williamson came to Botswana. The last Gunnar Erickson, he was a member of the international organization that funded ANC, PAC, and so on. So he came to Botswana and was staying in the President Hotel. He said, this friend of ours, President SASO, is going to come. Can you accommodate him in Swapo Safe House? I still remember very well. And collect him at 3 a.m. when you have him. He wants to drop at the jump space station. So I waited the day when he did that. At 3 a.m. I went there. And I then got him. When he got into my car, I told him that I've never jumped the fence. I don't even know which one. So I don't think I can take you there because I didn't know him. And he was close to me. He came that, when I talked to him. Then he said, drop me. I dropped me in front of the American embassy. I went back, I phoned Lars Gunnar Eriksson, the Swedish guy. And I said, I didn't take him there because I was uncomfortable. I didn't even know him. I didn't want to have. They said, oh no, he'll find his way. Within 2 months, he came back to Botswana as a refugee. I still remember very well. I didn't trust him at all, completely. He had a cut that was completely caught. And I look at him, and he had all these things that were policemen. I said, no. In 1980, 81, 82, I I discovered that I was invited by the United Nations in Switzerland. They didn't have enough. They put YWCA. They said you'll come tomorrow. So Craig Williamson then said, no, with my wife we can accompany in your house. I just felt, no, I can't stay. I don't trust him. I said, no, don't have. I slept the following day when that, at 4 o'clock, tea time. I don't know what happened to me. I just looked at Craig, and Craig, I sure you're not a cop. He didn't answer. Last Gunnar Erickson's wife said, no, he was a policeman before. I just said no to myself. Once a cop, always a cop. That was my belief, I found the friends that, this chap will have, And I think that's what made him panic now, that he panicked. I think what might happen is that, the police knew that, we were arranging with the ANC, PAC, and SASO to have Steve come into exile to finalize the discussion that were taking place. And I think Craig Williamson came to that. Last Gunnar Alec, looks funny. He was the guy who was staying with him, and he trusted Craig Williamson, He was going to be present at the meeting also that were taking place in Gaborone. Surprisingly, the Prime Minister of Sweden, even today, he died mysteriously. Some people believe that police, we don't know. But it affected the meeting. But also, Pichana could not get time to come in. He was supposed to meet in Gaborone. So the meeting did not take place before he was killed that way. So the killing came after that, because I think they then discovered that, there was some movement they wouldn't want to happen that way, So that's what it is that happened. I don't think themselves, I don't think they really wanted to kill Steve. They wanted information from Steve, the police. They must have banged him against the wall too much that way, and they didn't care when he died. It vibrates. It can't go away. I mean, I see his photos there every time. He's alive. For me, that is the type of thing that, we spend our lives and our futures for the freedom of this country. That's why